Hey guys, it's Guillermo again. So today I wanted to bring you guys some more content on the Shelby, talking about the SVE wheels paired up with the Michelin PS4S tires. But obviously, if you notice around, I'm in a new garage. My girlfriend and I ended up moving into these new apartments new to us, and obviously I ended up getting a garage. I'm always doing side jobs. I'm always working on the car, so I knew that I needed a garage to keep the car clean and protected, and also to be able to work on cars on the side every time I get something going on. So yeah, this is the garage. I just finished installing all of these things. I mean, I say all these things, but I finished getting everything put up, like the Shelby signs, the flag, and then I ended up getting this shelf from Home Depot, which was very, very inexpensive, very easy to install, and obviously just, I'm able to keep everything nice, organized, all my detailing supplies, track stuff with the numbers, and then more parts that I just have from the car and old parts that I like to keep. And then my toolbox, floor jack, trash can, and then obviously you can't forget the beach chair. Every once in a while I come out here and just stare at the car just because it's just so relaxing, in the morning, just sipping coffee. So I mean, yeah, I just wanted to bring you guys more of a content video, just because as you're making more and more videos, it's kind of difficult to come up with more content, just because I feel like I've addressed a lot of the things. I do want to make how to burn out and how to do line lock and how to do it like without the line lock feature, burnout video, but I still have good tread on my rear tires, so I don't want to do that just yet. They're very expensive. But for today, I wanted to go ahead and make a video on the Michelin PS4S tire, a review on that, and then on the SVE R350 replica wheel, or SVE wheels in general. I've ran the SVEs on the car for 1.5 years now. I've had the car for a little over 2 years. And so I wanted to talk to you about the specs, the good things, and why I went with this tire choice, why you might want to go with this size in particular. I'm going to be talking to you specs and just overall feel of the car and overall specs of the wheel as well. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the very first thing that I did to my car was the wheels and tires. I've had the car for a little over 2 years, and the very, very first modification that I did to it was change the wheels and tires. Why? Well, back then, obviously, I've always been a big proponent of lighter components, and I'm gonna get into the specifications and how light these wheels are compared to the OEMs. But the main reason why I changed them wasn't because of the weight, but was because of the look itself. The GT350R has always been my favorite wheel when it comes from Ford, from Ford. I love the way that these wheels look, the GT350R wheels. Even though these are the replica wheels, these are gonna be the closest when it comes to the overall look of the wheel, the closest to the OEM one, minus the fact that these wheels come with this synced in lug nut design. It sinks into the wheel, whereas if you know the OEM one is they actually sit right on top of the wheel and push it in, whereas this has the those I don't know what to call them, the spline key that goes in the middle. And so you do need a key. They send you a key with these wheels, just so that way you can run them like this. Now the rear, if you look and see, the rear is a little bit different because of the offset. So the lug nuts stick out just a little bit compared to the front. Now, like I said, the reason why I went ahead and got these wheels in particular was because of the look. And another thing that I was very, very excited to do is the fact that, or to get with the wheel, is the fact that they shave a lot of weight. On each corner, you save quite a bit of weight. And the reason why I say that is because the OEM wheels, they weigh, without the TPMS sensor and without the tire, obviously, just the wheel alone, weighs right at 31 pounds. Front and rear is about the same, within a pound of each other. Now, these wheels, they weigh 26 pounds if I'm not mistaken. So my bad, it's not 26 pounds, it's 25.5 pounds. Even though they're different sizes, this one is a 19 by 10, or I'm sorry, 19 by 10 and a half in the front, 19 by 11 in the back. And so the wheels, even though the back ones are a little bit wider, they still weigh the exact same, 25.5 pounds, just the wheel, not the tire. Now, that's quite a bit of weight shavings right there. And it's from not just, you know, still weight that doesn't move, but it's rotational weight, which means that it's gonna impact the way the car accelerates, the way the car changes directions when you're and your, you know, steering inputs is gonna benefit that. That's why they say on the GT350R, that's why it performs so well compared to the regular 350, not just because of the tire compound but itself, but it also changes the entire dynamics of the car and how the car feels overall, because the wheel itself is quite a bit lighter, so it makes your steering inputs more darty. It makes the car feel a lot more, you can feel the inputs of the car a lot better than the OEM wheels, or the non-R wheels, I should say, non-carbon fiber. But yeah, that's the reason why I went ahead and got these wheels on. And after, you know, a year and a half, I still have no desires of changing the wheels. I've had a couple of friends tell me, hey, are you selling your wheels? Are you ever planning on selling them? If you do, please let me know. And, you know, even now, you know, I could sell them and get something else, but it's very, very hard to think of, because these wheels were actually a little over, like right at $1,100, wheels and lug nuts all together. And, you know, for that kind of price, you get a wheel that's very, very stout, lightweight wheel. And, you know, mind you guys can see, I mean, I've taken the car on road courses many times, and the wheels are just phenomenal. They don't, you know, I feel very, very safe in them. Running them at the track is what I'm trying to say. And I definitely recommend that if you have a, you know, GT350 non-R and you want that little bit of a look of the R, you should definitely check these out. And now LMR does sell the GT350 specific wheels with the right offset for the GT350, and they also sell some for the 5.0s that will fit that car, because obviously, as you guys can see, the fenders on the 350 are a little bit wider than the regular 5.0, so they sell a wheel specifically for this car. Now, I will say that in my case, I always want the wheel poking out, maybe not poking out, but just flush with the fender, and I am lowered on Stita lowering springs on my car, so I wanted to get that perfect fitment. And the way that I was able to do it, especially after I added so much camber in the front, the top of the wheel, just as you guys can see, came in. And so what I did to fix that, I went ahead and put a little spacer on here. It's like a 0.8 of an inch of a spacer. I am still running the OEM studs, not the stainless studs. They're still the OEM ones, and you know, I still had plenty of threads left, so I mean, it's fine. I've taken it on the track, no issues whatsoever. There's no what is this? There's no vibrations coming from, you know, the spacer, and it's good. I'm also running one in the back just because I like that poke, a little bit more of an aggressive stance. I don't know if you guys can see right here, but I am running a small spacer front and back. So that's about the wheel itself. Like I said, it's gonna be the best wheel, in my opinion, out there when it comes to, you know, on a budget, I guess you could say, because the wheel itself looks beautiful and it's very, very inexpensive. Now, wheels aside, let's go ahead and talk tires. So the GT350s, non-Rs, the GT350s, they come with 295 35 19 and a 305 35 19, and there's, you know, that size is a very I guess you could say pretty size, because it fills up the wheel well just a little bit better than your you know, skinnier or smaller profile tire. In my case, I ended up going with a wider tire in the back, which is a 325 30 and a 305 30 for the front. And the reason why I did that is not because so much more, I didn't want more grip. You know, obviously When it comes to grip, you're gonna wanna change the compound of the tire. These are a 300 tire tread, I believe, which means that, you know, they are gonna offer very, very good amount of grip. You know, at the track, they're phenomenal. Daily driving, they're phenomenal. On any sort of weather, whether it being rain or whatever, these tires are great. They're very quiet. Also, I will say that whenever you're driving and you're going over bumps, the trem lining is a lot less with these tires. Even though these are a little bit wider than the 295s, is still less with the Michelin PS4S 4S than the Michelin Pilot Super Sport that the car came with. So as you guys can see, you know, I do have a little bit of an edge wear just because I take the car and I drive it hard at events. But you know, the tire itself, it's held up great. It's still got tons of tread. So does the back. But I mean, the way that the tire behaves is just phenomenal for what you get. I mean, it is on the expensive side. The tires are more expensive than the wheels. But you know, then again, the tires are gonna be the best thing that you can do to your car, not just this car, but any car, to make the performance aspect of it better. And so, you know, that's why they'll tell you invest on things like this instead of a tune and cold air intake. Get better tires and you'll have a better overall car. So lastly, before we go ahead and take this car on a little test drive, I'll do, you know, a couple little pulls, first and second gear, and just to show you how the car hooks with this tire. If I could go back and redo this whole setup, right? If I could go back and do it again, as far as the tire choice is concerned, I would say I would go with a 200 tread wear tire. Why? Well, because I want the max amount of grip. And when it comes to this tire is good for everything, right? It's just gonna be your summer performance tire. And I will say the 4S, in my opinion, is gonna be the best when it comes to max performance tire for the summer and for overall daily driving, blah, 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 not just a regular dedicated track tire. When it comes to street tires that are gonna offer you the best amount of grip, that means that the tire is in charge of doing a lot of the things, such as channeling water out, being a quiet tire, offering, you know, something to be a little bit more comfortable on the street. And this tire just delivers on all of those things. Now, if you're like somebody like me that cares more about how the car drives, better response and all of that, this tire, you won't be disappointed. But like I said, when I do go on the autocross events or even at the track, I do wish that I had a little bit more grip. And so that's what I'm going to be doing next, is going to be upgrading these tires. Once I don't run out of tread on them, I'm going to be upgrading the tires to a 200 tread wear. And I will be going probably with a squared setup, which is going to be 305/30s all the way around, or even 315/30 all the way around, just because I want to have that that squared, you know, setup. If you ask any track Mustang out there, they're gonna tell you square setups are the best. Now, I will have a little bit of a disadvantage there because I can't do the rotations just because my wheels are different specs and different offsets. So I can't just do the regular rotation because the front wheel is not gonna fit the rear wheel is not gonna fit the front, and vice versa. You know, I can't do that unless I go ahead and get the same rear wheel all the way around. And if I do that, then I'm gonna have to play with spacers and I'm gonna have to change the studs. But for now, this is how the car sits. I love it. So let's go ahead and go for a little test drive, and then I'm gonna show you how these tires do with 500 wheel horsepower GT350. Again, if you're new to the channel, the car has nothing done to it other than a free-flowing exhaust, E85 tuned by Lund Racing, and a good, you know, a decent driver behind the wheel. And yeah, let's go ahead and go for a drive, and I'll show you guys how these tires do when you, you know, you randomly are driving around and you just want to do a pull. There's actually a lot of traffic wheel hop. That's not really a good thing. So it's always best to turn off traction control completely. In my case, I just like to have it on traction, on track mode, because it allows a little bit of wheel spin, which therefore makes your chances of wheel hopping slightly less than normal. So I'm gonna try a second gear pull. Spin a little bit, but it's a very manageable kind of spin. It spins on the hit from second gear. Obviously first gear is going to be even more aggressive. It's going to spin a little bit more, but what I like about the tire is that it spins, but it's in a very manageable way. It doesn't make you feel like you're going to lose control or anything like that. And it keeps you kind of going straight. I don't know if it's, you know, if it's a mix between the traction control kicking in or just the tire itself, but I'll tell you, there has been times before that I turn off traction control completely and I punch it and the car spins a little bit and then it hooks progressively as your RPMs are going up. It tends to hook. So the tire is very, very, very good in that sense. And it does give you a lot of feedback. I mean, whenever you're trying to turn and you go over every kind of imperfection on the road, the tire just talks you a little bit better. And then, like I said, when it comes to going over imperfections on the road and tramlining, this tire is a lot better compared to the Michelin Pilot Super Sport, because even though this one is a little bit wider than the 295, this is a 305, it still has less of that tram lining that the GT350s and cars with wide front tires are known for. This tire made it less prominent, so just something to keep in mind. So another thing that a lot of people tend to complain when they go to summer tires, or tires that offer a lot of grip, is the noise. And I have to say that this tire, as far as noise is concerned, is very, very quiet. Obviously, I mean, Michelin is known for that. You know, when you start getting into the Michelin Pilot, the Cup 2s, those are very noisy compared to something like this, which is more streetable. But that's another thing, is like when you get into the Cup 2s, I remember I ended up doing one track event with my old car. My old car came with the Cup 2s from the factory, and I only got one event out of them. On the days that came after that, after I had done the first track event, I felt like the tire wasn't all there anymore. It lost a lot of its original grip, and that's why I dislike the Cup 2. Not just so much because, I mean, the Cup 2 is a great tire, but for how long, you know? It's good for a one-time use, and after that it will never give you the same kind of grip that it used to give you from the beginning. Whereas there's other tires out there that will keep on giving you that same amount of grip for a long time. You know, right now I'm looking at the Falcon. I think it's the R360, I think it's called. It's a 200 tread wear tire, and I believe that's going to be the next tire I'm going to be using, just because I want a tire that is a little bit more grippier than what I have now. And even though it's going to be, you know, it's not going to last me as long, it's still a 200 tread wear, and it's still going to last me at least 10 unfortunately there's way too much traffic today, but at least you got to see one good pull that I did. But you know, you guys, if you're looking into upgrading your wheels and tires and you don't want to spend $5,000 on a new setup, you should definitely check these wheels out. I'll go ahead and put the link in the description where I got mine from, elitmar.com, and you know, just give me your opinions in the comments down below. What kind of tire are you guys running? What sizes do you recommend? So thank you guys for watching, and y'all have a good one.